What's up, y'all? My name is Alex Vazquez, and I'm a producer. And today I'm going to show you how to make a simple beat using the Ableton Push and Serato Sample. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to drag in Serato Sample into a new track. And so you can see the interface here, which allows you to load in an audio file. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to do some sample chops over a simple drum loop, okay? And let's listen to the drum loop first, actually. Okay, cool. That's at 150 or 75. And now let's listen to a piece of the melodic sample here. Okay, that's nice with the flute there. So let's see what we can cook up with that. So let's go to the Serato sample track and let's drag in the melodic sample, okay? All right, so now we can see the interface. I'm not going to delve too deep into it, but some of the important parts are here at the top. Mono is whether you want to play one or multiple notes. This section is for the stems, which allows you to isolate or mute certain parts like the vocals, the piano, guitar, the drums. And then over here, this section, you have the tuning, and it tells you actually the key. So it detects the key of the sample, and then you can tune it up or down. So let's go ahead and for this particular case, let's tune it up. I like a lot of tuned up stuff. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to put the different samples and the different cues and triggers on the different pads on the push, okay? And so for the push here, you want to make sure that you're on device here, right? You don't want to make sure you're on browse or mix. Make sure you're on device. And now what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I added it by accident. So now we're going to hit the pads, right, in sequence so that we can save the triggers. And then later we're going to go back and re-trigger them, right, and chop them up and to make a whole new, basically a new melody and make it into a beat, right? So let's go ahead and get started by pushing the first pad. See, now I messed that up. So let's go ahead and, there we go. Okay, nice. Okay, so like you saw at the beginning, I did an accidental trigger, and sometimes that happens. So you can go ahead and delete it by clicking on it and then manually selecting the trash can and deleting it. But in this case, after that first mistake, we were able to go through and find some of the important parts that seemed interesting to me. So we can also go back, and what I like to do is clean up the start times, because sometimes we're a little bit off. So we want to make sure that we're exactly where we want to start when we're triggering the pad. So the first one was good. That one was nice. That was good as well. That one was a little bit off. So now if we zoom in with for example, with my mouse, you can see that it's a little bit off. So we're going to switch it, move it a little bit, nudge it to the right. And now you can see it's a lot smoother, right? And so this is an important part when you're using Serato Sample or any kind of sampling. You want to make sure that you're lining up your samples right where you want them to make sure you're avoiding any timing issues, right? So let's see here. Okay, right? So now we have those chops. Let's go back to the drum loop, right? And let's go ahead and play that. And then maybe let's try to improvise on top of it and see what kind of melodies come out and, you know, what we want to make here. Okay, so in this case, what happened was I didn't put this on loop. So let's go ahead and make sure it's on loop and make it to the full extent. So now it loops indefinitely. Okay. Now let's go back. Okay, so here I'm finding a couple different motifs, a couple different ideas that we can play with. And what I like to do is find at least 2 or 3 different sections when I'm doing a sampled beat. So it's not so monotonous. It's not the same exact chop throughout the whole track, right? So let's see if we can find one part, right? And then the next part. And then we'll go ahead and sequence them out so that we can put it together all in one beat. So let's play and let's record and let's see a couple of different sections that we might work with. Okay, so I think I liked that part, this kind of repetitive 2-part part here, I think was nice. And so let's go ahead and add that. And part of what we have to do here is, you know, make sure that we line things up. In this case, you can do a little bit of quantizing if you want. For example, here, Control U does a halfway quantize, and that gives us a little bit more regularity without being so robotic, right? So let's play that back. Okay. So that works decent for, let's say, you know, kind of like maybe a verse part, but let's say we want some sort of switch up, right? So let's play with another part of the sample here. Okay. There was a couple parts in there that we might be able to use. Maybe this part here. Maybe this part here. Let's move this back. Let's see, let's go ahead and maybe loop this for 4 bars. Okay. crop it. So now we have a part 1 and a part 2, right? So we can say here, part 1, and this can be part 2. Okay. And so now we have a simple beat, right? And 2 parts. So let's bring the drums over, holding it and dragging and dropping it. And in this case, this is the 16-bar drum loop. Now let's drag in part 1 and part 2 for Serato. Okay, that's part 1, and then now part 2 is here. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to double that part. Okay, so now what we've done is we've arranged the beat a bit. So we have the part 1 and then a part 2, all with the drums. And let's just go ahead and take a listen. Okay, so there you have it. I mean, pretty crude and simple, but you know, there you have it. Basically, a drum beat there where we use the push to trigger different samples from Serato Sample, and over a drum loop, right? And so you can take this, you can use it with the stems feature to, like I said, take out certain parts, replay other parts on top of it, and get really creative. And so this is a nice setup for you to explore and to get inspired with sampled beats and different ways of manipulating sound. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and hope to see you again soon.